Have you ever felt like life is moving too fast? Deadlines, messages, people pulling you in every direction. You want to focus, but your mind feels like a storm. Now imagine this, a samurai standing still in the middle of chaos. Swords clashing, dust rising, but his eyes calm, steady, like still water. That's not just cinematic poetry. It's a real mental discipline, a principle that guided warriors to make perfect decisions in moments where panic meant death. It's called the still water principle, a way to see clearly, act calmly, and move precisely no matter how turbulent the world becomes. Let me show you how it works. In 1575, during the Battle of Nagashino, a young samurai named Takeshi faced his first real fight. When the chaos began, horses charging, arrows raining, the screams of warriors, he froze. His heart raced. His hands trembled. Every sound, every flash of steel overwhelmed him. He wanted to strike, but he couldn't even breathe. Then, from behind, his master placed a hand on his shoulder and said, "Takeshi, the water that moves wildly sees nothing." Confused, the boy turned. His master continued, "Be still, and you will see the reflection of truth." That day, Takeshi learned what separates the samurai from ordinary men. They trained not only to fight, but to see clearly through chaos. That clarity, born from stillness, became their greatest weapon. In Zen philosophy, the mind is often compared to water. When the surface is disturbed, it reflects nothing. But when it becomes still, it mirrors everything perfectly. The still water principle teaches that clarity doesn't come from trying to control the chaos outside, but from mastering the stillness within. In modern words, it's emotional regulation, the ability to remain centered even when the world around you spins. This is what today's psychologists call response inhibition and attentional control, skills that determine how you handle stress, pressure, and fear. The samurai didn't rush because they trained their minds to remain like still water, calm, deep, and clear. But how can you train that kind of mind in the middle of modern life's noise? Let's break it down into 4 steps. The still water method. Step 1. Mizukagami, the water mirror. Awareness before action. Before any sword strike, a samurai first mastered stillness. Mizukagami means water mirror, the art of seeing your own reflection clearly before you move. In today's world, that means awareness before reaction. When something frustrates you, a text, a comment, a mistake, your brain wants to react instantly. That's muddy water. The first step is to pause. Breathe once deeply. Feel the tension rise and do nothing. Just observe it as if you were looking at ripples fade away. Modern neuroscience calls this meta-awareness, noticing your emotional wave without letting it sweep you away. Action step. Next time you're triggered, say in your mind, "Still, water sees clearly." That single phrase can interrupt the chaos and give you back control. Step 2. Sation, the centered mind. Return to the present moment. The second step is sation, centered mind. Once the ripples fade, you return to your core. The samurai trained this through meditation, breath work, and repetitive rituals, cleaning their blade, arranging their armor, even sipping tea. Each act anchored them to now. Today, we call it mindful grounding. When your attention is scattered, anchor it to something physical, your breath, your hands, your heartbeat, because the present is the only battlefield you can actually fight in. Action step. Choose one ritual that centers you. It could be a short breathing sequence before work, a walk without your phone, or 5 slow breaths before replying to anyone in anger. Each time you return to the present, the water clears. Step 3. Kensho, seeing through illusion, clarity in chaos. Once the water stills, reflection begins. Kensho means seeing one's true nature. For the samurai, it meant seeing the situation as it really is, not as fear or ego paints it. In battle, that clarity made the difference between striking rashly or perfectly. For us, it means removing the noise of panic, overthinking, and emotional distortion. When the water of the mind is calm, you see what's actually important and what's just noise. Modern psychology links this to the prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain that makes rational decisions only when your emotions are calm. Action step. When faced with a big choice, don't rush to decide. Instead, wait for the water to clear. Ask yourself, what is emotion here? What is fact? That separation is power. Step 4. Shizukesa, calm action, moving without disturbing the water. The final step is shizukesa, calm action. This is where stillness meets movement. The samurai didn't avoid battle. They entered it fully, but from a place of deep calm. They acted only when the strike was clear, and then they moved with total commitment. Still, water doesn't mean doing nothing. It means moving without disturbing your inner peace. In modern life, this means taking action without rushing, overthinking, or doubting yourself. You don't move because you're afraid to stand still. You move because you know it's time. Action step. Before you begin any important task, pause for 3 seconds. Breathe once, then act slowly, decisively, because true speed comes from inner stillness. The world worships hustle, but the samurai mastered waiting. They understood that impatience is a form of fear, fear of missing out, of falling behind, of being still. But waiting with awareness isn't delay, it's wisdom. Every time you resist the urge to rush, you sharpen your perception. You save energy for the strike that matters. In neuroscience, this is called delayed gratification, the ability to wait now for a greater outcome later. The samurai trained their brains to value precision over panic. That's why they seemed calm in chaos, because they had rehearsed stillness 1,000 times in silence. You don't need armor or a sword to live like a samurai. You just need presence. Here's how to practice the still water principle every day. Morning. Begin your day without rushing. Sit quietly for 1 minute. Let your thoughts settle before touching your phone. Work. Before every task, take 1 breath. Feel your posture, your intention. Move like water, smooth, deliberate, unforced. Conflict. When anger rises, do not fight it. Let it ripple and fade before you speak. Stillness will always give you the right words. Reflection. Before sleep, review your day. Where did your water stay clear? Where did it get muddy? This awareness alone is transformation. With time, your mind becomes less reactive. You begin to see things before they happen. You move slower, but achieve more. That's the paradox of stillness. The world will keep trying to make you rush, to act without thinking, to react without seeing. But remember, rushing is a form of blindness. The samurai knew that clarity is worth more than speed, and peace is stronger than power. So when your mind feels restless, return to the water. Breathe. Be still, because only still water can reflect the truth. If this teaching resonated with you, leave a comment sharing one situation where you'll choose stillness over rushing. And remember, you don't conquer the world by moving faster. You master it by moving calmly. Until next time, stay grounded, stay aware, and keep your water still.